Boys is getting quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through 4-4, steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it, cause we gotta finish. Nebraska Horn Hustlers, man, we diminished. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends.
All right, welcome into Fullback U, and man, just excited to, I mentioned it on Twitter, but this guy's like one of my idols, so I'm really excited about this. I call him Jay Norman, but Josh Norman, how you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling well, man. I appreciate you for having me on. Excited about the opportunity, man.
You know, I like I said, I made the joke of, you know, you should have been a fullback in that whole deal. I truly believe it, but no, extremely versatile player. We're going to get into all that. First of all, if you want to comment, what do you think of my partner, Jay White?
This is my first time ever being firsthand on one, you know, like that's special, man. And you know, what we got 7 now?
Something like that.
6 or 7 now. And so it's always special, man, to know that we have such a rich tradition at the University of Oklahoma, man, and we keeping that thing rolling.
Weird question. Obviously, everybody heard T. Marsh say he was going to get Winky's Heisman back. If Heupel wins the Heisman, do you think you guys still win it? Why? Do you think him losing it played a factor in it? Let me know.
No, I don't think him losing it played a factor in it. I truly believe that if he won it, we still would have won the national championship just because that was our mindset. And people still, even if he would have won it, people would have still been betting against us. I think we were 12 or 13-point underdogs in that game. And so, you know, we were doubted all year. And so, you know, we had a chip on our shoulder. We were looking to prove. And, you know, and really it was about proving to ourselves that we could do it based on all that we had endured up to that point, you know, and it was just a constant battle and challenge against ourselves.
Before we get to that 2000 team, I know a bunch of y'all look up to a bunch of y'all. I want to hear about young Jay Norm. You know, tell me about growing up in West Texas. How'd y'all get out there, man? You don't have a West Texas accent. What happened with that? Do you have buddies in the oil field?
Man.
All that stuff.
All
Sand
of that,
dunes,
man.
What?
Yeah, I mean, my family got to West Texas because of my grandfather. He took a job out there back in like the 40s or the 50s. It was the 50s. He took a job in Odessa, Texas, and my dad met my mom in Midland, and that's where I was born and raised. And my dad's been in the oil field for 40 plus years. Both of my brothers are in the oil field, and so yeah, I mean, yeah. You know, the funny thing is, as far as my dad, he was like if I remember correctly, he was like the 5th black man to be hired in the oil field in West Texas.
Yeah,
and so,
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah, and so that was a long time ago, and he's seen a lot, to say the least. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, both of my brothers are in the oil field now, and doing well, running their own companies out there. And so, yeah, man, that's my roots, man. And I didn't want to be in the oil field. I can't stand the oil field. I used to be out there in the summers with my dad, and it was like, nah, I'm gonna play ball I can get up out of here.
Yeah, speaking of playing ball, you know, I love Oklahoma high school football, but Texas is better, man. It's a different lifestyle down there. I loved going down there and watching it. You probably played at one of the top. I always heard about you guys in high school.
Yeah.
Talk about what it was like growing up or playing football there. Some of your teammates you had, state championships, I'm sure, just all that.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Unfortunately I wasn't on the state championship team. They ran 3 straight the 3 years after I left.
You set the tone, though.
Yeah, no question. And actually, Coach Parchman will say that. You know, that group that we had before that state championship, we really, you know, laid the foundation for them to go win that. But I mean, shoot, growing up, man, it was like, you know, this is Midland Lee. Like we looked up to those guys as if it was an NFL team or something like that. And so, you know, being at the playoff games, I remember that, you know, in November, and, you know, cool tradition that has nothing to do with football, sort of does, but I always looked forward to being in the playoffs every year around Thanksgiving, because we would always practice on Thanksgiving Day. And there was always this one family that would come out and they would have like a family football game at our practice field. And so every year we would look forward to seeing them out. Yeah, look forward to seeing them out there. And so I think they still do it too, man. But
That's what's up.
yeah, man, it's a great tradition out there. And Coach Hartman has done a great job of restoring the program and getting them back in contention and getting deep into the playoffs.
Speaking of that, I want to hear, so typical Friday Night Lights stuff. What's similarities? What's different from down there? What do we know of a guy from Oklahoma that sees some of those shows? Is it real like them? Is it fake like them? What do you think?
Well, I think the city has grown so much. Midland and Odessa has grown so much since I was growing up there that it's not as such a big deal throughout the city. I remember on the movie, it was like businesses were shutting down on Friday. Like it's not like that, but the excitement is still there. People look forward to going to the games. I mean, you could be playing a Rudy Poo team on Friday night and it's still going to be 15, 20,000 people at the games, and then when you play Permian, it's going to be 30,000 people, 35,000 people at a high school game. And so, yeah, man, it's still jumping. It's just not as extreme as it once was.
How'd you get to OU, Jay Norm? I mean, it wasn't the time, or it didn't seem like it for OU. I'm sure you grew up probably a Texas guy. Well, tell me.
I actually didn't.
Really?
I did not grow up a Texas guy. I actually did not like the University of Texas. I don't know why, but I just didn't. I grew up 2 hours south of Lubbock, so if there was any college team that I grew up watching, it was Texas Tech. But I didn't grow up watching a lot of college football. I really liked watching NFL football. So how I got to OU, I actually did not take an official visit to OU. I took all my 5 visits to other places. All my 5 official visits to Texas A&M, Kansas, Nebraska, University of California, and SMU. And I really, was big on Nebraska at the time just because of who they were exactly. Yeah. And but it was too far away, and I didn't really like the whole, the culture there, I guess. As far as the social aspect of it. And so after I'd already taken all my visits, Coach Blake called me and, said he wanted to bring me out. And, my dad I was actually like, no, I'm good. But my dad asked me, he was like, would you just do it for me? I'll drive you out there and so on and so forth. And so I came on the weekend. It was Christmas break, so there was nobody on campus. Myself and Brent Jackson were the only 2 players here. We were the only 2 players on the visit here. And I mean, I think somebody took us to a party or something, and we just kind of sat there, didn't do much on that Saturday night. Sunday morning, got up, met with Coach Blake, and they offered me, and then we drove back home. And just over the next, month or so, it was really just a matter of me, weighing all my options. I prayed about it a lot. And then my dad would I'd be in the shower in the morning and he'd knock on the bathroom and ask me, you decide yet? No, Dad, I haven't. Made a decision yet? No, I haven't. And then one day he, asked me, you made a decision yet? I was like, OU. And I was like, oh, shoot, I guess I'm going to OU, and it was just like, it really just happened like that. And,
that's what's up.
A big part of that reason was John Blake and just the tradition of the school too. That was a big part of the reason that I came was just, and then later after I committed and signed, I learned that my grandfather went to school there years ago after he got back from the war. And yeah, man, and it turned out to be great for me. One of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
That's real. 3 years with Blake? 4 years with Blake?
One
year with Blake?
One.
I thought it was like at least 3 or 4.
No, just 1 year with Blake.
So talk about that 1 year with Blake.
Man, it was I was a huge fan of John Blake. He was the main reason that I came here, and so, it was just so much dysfunction, and it really wasn't it wasn't as bad as it seemed. Our offense was just trash. 1 week we'd be in wishbone, the next week we'd be in eye, next week we'd be in spread. We just didn't have an identity on offense. Our defense was really good, like in the top 10 in the country. A lot of people don't realize this, but our defensive coordinator at the time was Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan, I remember.
Yeah, a
Guys
lot of
talk
people
about
don't
that.
even remember that. And, you know, Phil Bennett was on the staff. I mean, we had a
K-State.
great defense, yeah. And so it was just our offense was trash, man. And, you know, we fought in some games and lost within, you know, less than 7 points in 3 of the 5 games that we played or something like that. And so at the end of the year, we were playing Tech our last game, and people were saying if we win that game, Coach Blake probably save his job. We beat him, and so I thought he was going to stay, you know, but they fired him, and you know, next thing you know, Coach Stoops comes in, man.
Let's talk about that. Jay, there's nobody better that's going to lead into this. You're already laughing because the intro. Let's just start with the intro to Smitty because, I mean, we don't even need to know about Bob first. He was wiping people out, Jay Norm. There was nothing like it. If you walk out that door, don't come back. If there's not enough trash cans in this place, go ahead. Just what was
so
it like?
I know one of the questions were from the fans was, you know, is there anything I carry from, you know, coaching philosophies that I carry from that staff till now? And the number one thing that I carry is the importance of the strength and conditioning program. And I say that I've told my buddies this, that I believe that every football program is going to be successful, is going to live and die based off their strength and conditioning program. And the strength and conditioning coach needs to have full autonomy on making decisions. And that's exactly what Coach Stoops did. You know, there were so many times that, you know, we'd be like, Coach Stoops, please, like, save us.
Don't deal with him.
Nope. You know, Schmitty runs things around here, guys. And like it was simple as that. But so it was like a month and a half, maybe 2 months in between the time that they fired Coach Blake and hired Coach Stoops, and we weren't doing anything. Oof. Like we didn't have anything. Like there was no coaches on staff, so we weren't working out or anything. You know, and so, you know, we thought it was going to be as simple as it was before he got there. When it came to workouts, you know, you walk in, you get your sheet. You do your workout, you do whatever you want to do with your workout, really. And then you fill your stuff out, you leave. It was not that way. So the story, I'm sure you've heard it 100 times, 1,000 times probably.
It's fine by me.
You know, first day of winter workouts in the indoor, we go in. One of the first things we notice when we're sitting around waiting on the session to start is we notice trash cans everywhere. And we was like, that's weird, you know, whatever. And so we get to working out, and we realize then, like, why the trash cans are there. Guys are throwing up.
10 minutes in.
Guys are falling out, you know, and he killing us. And then next thing you know, he calls it up, and we all get in, and he say, all right, guys, get your mind right for the workout. That was just a warm-up. We was like, what? Warm-up? And he commenced to just, but, you know, like, so that philosophy is a big part of why I believe, like, why I take on the coaching philosophy that I have now, in that, you know, I believe that the off season and the summer workouts, like that's the time to. It's not time to just build, but it's also the time to separate. You know, because when we got to, you know, week 1. Of playing games.
Y'all were so pissed off. Y'all were so
Not
mad.
just that, but we knew that we had earned the right to be there.
Oh, very true.
And that we could rely on those guys. Like I could rely on this guy because of everything that we went. I tell people this story all the time. One day after workout, Schmitty had just killed us. I think we had done like the 2 600-yard shuttles. And no, it was 3 of them. But we had just finished that workout. And it was myself, Andre Woolfolk, Curtis Fagan, and I know maybe D-Mac was in there, Damian Mackey, but we were just dog tired, and we all had the same thought. Like, obviously, it probably didn't happen this way, but the way I remember it is that we all said it at the same time. Like, if we don't win the national championship next year, we're not coming back to summer workouts. Because it's no point in doing this if you're not going to win the national championship. We go on to win the national championship the following year. But, you know, that's the type of work that we were putting in. That's the type of confidence that we had in each other from the work that we were putting in. And so, yeah, Schmitty is, and I think you ask every guy, you know, if they could choose one reason, you know, and you could only choose one reason, the reason we won the national championship, everybody would always say Schmitty. Anybody who was even directly connected with the program.
So you mentioned 600-yard shuttles, and that was, you know, I kind of, I don't want to say I studied Schmitty, but I used to listen intently because I was scared as shit. You know, I was one of those guys, Jay Norm. I show up my first workout, he got me with Tommy, Wolf, all them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, dudes has been here 3-4 years. I get there on a Monday in the middle of June. He making us run stadiums from Fridays before. You know, I'm out of it on the stadiums. But I noticed about 2 years into it, 600-yard shuttles is the only thing he told us before we did it that we were going to do it. So hear me out. So you know, most times, you know, if it's a 300-yard shuttle, he just run down to the 60. All right, guys, down back 5 times. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So he's explaining on the move. Dog, 600-yard shuttles hit your ass like this. All right, everybody, bring it up, and you get 1 yard left. You get one of 2 reactions from guys. Okay, guys, we got 600-yard shuttles today. Fucking grown men. Damn near started crying. That's one. You like, fuck, damn. The other dude starts taking every pair of clothes off.
Absolutely.
I'm down my tights.
Down to your girdle.
Okay, okay, no shirt, no nothing. So you get one of 2 guys on the two, and just explain it's down and back, down back. You get like 1 minute 45 for y'all, 2 minutes, or it's like a minute 55 for us, 2:10 for linemen.
You forgot it was a third person, because I fit the third category of the people when he said that. The guy who was just like, I know I'm going to be back at 3 o'clock. Like, I was that guy. It was like, there's no way I'm going to make all of these. So okay. Hey, I know I'm going to be back at 3 o'clock.
Top 5 workouts you hated, top 3.
Obviously, the hill, the infamous duck pond hill, with the sled, with the weighted vest. Like, literally, I think we did the math on this, and I think when it was all said and done, we had an extra 125, 150 pounds easily that we were carrying, you know, above our own weight. I think I remember them counting at 80 yards. It was a total of 80 yards, and it was uphill. And, I mean, that was by far the worst workout. That's the only one I ever threw up on. We had 8 of them, but then Schmitty realized that guys were taking the weights out and throwing them into the pond.
Yeah, we did that.
And he gave us 2 more.
Absolutely. We did it. We did that too. Shit. You wouldn't have made it if I had on them there. Man, they used to feel like they were vacuum to your, or like suction to your leg.
Yeah, man. It was horrible.
And then there's no worse feeling, Jay Norm. So say you're a senior, I'm a freshman, and I'm falling off on the sleds, and you got to drag that damn thing back from me.
Yeah, exactly.
So mad.
That's real. Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't make the sleds this very well. I'm sorry.
That's real.
So there were so many points where you just see like, I get it. Like, man, I felt like I was never gonna make it, Jay. I felt like you would never. I'm just always on the Stairmaster.
My deal were like the burst where we could, like, I was good. I never had to come back from sleds. I was good on sleds. It was the distance stuff, the shuttle stuff. I mean, I was 230 pounds, you know.
Me too.
Running with 185 pound, 90 pound guys like Andre Woolfolk and Antoine Savage and Curtis Fagan, you know, like, and so I could run with them for burst, but the longer we ran, I just start falling off. And so the freaking the ramps, hated those. Did y'all ever do the ramps?
Absolutely.
Okay. Like the ramps. I was good with stadiums because you know burst up and then you could come down and burst up. I could do that. But any of the shuttle stuff, the 600-yard shuttles, the 300-yard shuttles, it was just like, man, it's I just can't do it, man. The 4 trippers, 3 trippers, I struggled with all of those, man.
We'll come back to, I want to get a funny Schmitty story from you, so I'll let you think on it. But I want to talk to you about your career. Before, you know, with Blake versus after Blake. Was your position different before then to after then? Well, the evolution of it. Just talk to me about that.
Yeah, so kind of the evolution of my my role, in my position role at OU. I was recruited as a running back. I was that freak that was gonna dot that I, as Coach Blake would say.
I love it.
And so I was an I formation running back, and what a lot of people don't know is that when Coach Stoops came in and he brought in Mike Leach, the running back position completely changed. Like it changed to like a scat back type of running back, and because of the running back body types that we had, I was one of the few running backs on the roster who could actually like catch the ball consistently out of the backfield. And so that's how I started getting reps. Was they would put me at running back in the shotgun, and I'd run a little flat route. I think it was what was the play 6 and 8. And, and they'd just throw the little flat route to me, arrow route to me out of the backfield. I had I don't know how many 6 or 7 touchdowns on that play as their first year there. And so that's really how I got reps. And then also that his first year, Coach Stoops' first year there, we had a lot of injuries at tight end. And so they would put me at tight end. I had a good game against Louisville and played well at that position. And so that first year, I was anywhere from, the running back, what they call the F in that offense to the Y, and I'd also be the H out of the 2-back sets, orange and brown. I'd also be the H out of that. So that's why I said technically I was a fullback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that first year there, I rotated between those 3 spots all year, and then their second year there, I guess under Mangino, is when they really started playing with me at the slot. I guess that was just a way to get me on the field with, Quentin really coming along well at running back and Trent playing well at tight end position. They were healthy, and so they were getting me on the field at the F back or the H, I guess. And also it started just because they could keep me on the field. Whether it was in slide or in the backfield, that was just a way that they could keep the same personnel on the field and move me around.
I like that. Let's get to that 2000 team. You guys, you mentioned it. You had the year before. You lost some guys. You come back just with a vengeance, man. I remember, and shout out to you guys, man. I really didn't even know you may not even believe this. I don't know that many fans, but I really didn't know OU was like that.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up, it was the Schellenberger era. They had just got off of Barry Switzer stuff, so I was a Florida State fan.
Yeah,
I had a buddy that Coach Dunn, he had a neighbor that played at Nebraska, so we would watch them. In that year, though, Jay Norm, I got to see y'all beat both of them, Nebraska and Florida State.
Yeah.
I slowly become this during the game. I'll never forget. I think you had a big catch in the national championship game on that one. Throughout the year, I started paying attention to your role. I stole your celebration as you scored on the jet sweep. I remember seeing that expanded role. I remember seeing the ball being spread around and just really thinking after the game, damn, man, these dudes just, the state that I'm from just beat what I always grew up, the Warrick Dunns, the Charlie Wards, the legends. You guys were the legends. Yeah. How special was that team, man? What was it like? The memories, you still talk to them, all that.
It's funny, man. Like when we won, the few years after we won, obviously to me it was extremely special. But year after year after year, it makes me realize even more like how truly special that team was. And I tell people all the time, like, we had a great deal of character. It takes character to go into Manhattan, Kansas and beat Kansas State. It takes a great deal of character to be down 14-0 to Nebraska and still come back and win. And so, like, we just had a great deal of character. Yeah, A&M, I think we were down 17 with 4 minutes left, which I didn't even realize until a few years ago. When you're in the game, and this as a player, when you're in the game, you really block out all of that stuff, and you're just playing. You're aware of the situation, but you're focused on doing what you got to do to win. And so I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, somebody was talking to me about some videos on YouTube from that year, and I went and I pulled up how they play the highlights of the game and kind of just the situations of the game and stuff. And I didn't realize that we were down like 17 with 4 minutes. I was like, wait, what? And we still came back and won. Insane. And so, yeah, man, it's like just moments like that, just, and just being around the game so much more now. It's like, man, we had a great deal of character, and everybody else just got to witness the work that we put in the summertime, the obviously all of the stuff that we went through with Schmitty, but the extra stuff that we did with hype, in 7-on-7 and the defense putting in all of that work, man. And so, yeah, man, it was special. And yeah, I keep in touch with, a few of those guys.
Wasn't Hype your roommate for a while?
Yeah, Josh was my roommate. Yeah, we were roommates my last 2 years. Funny story. A few years ago, I was at Toby Keith's golf tournament and went to his after party. And I got to sit at the table with freaking Larry the Cable Guy and Mike Leach. One of the funniest conversations I've ever heard in my life. But Mike Leach said that they were intentional on putting me as a roommate with Josh.
Okay.
And I didn't know it. I thought, I was like, shoot, let's be roommates.
Right,
and
right.
we became roommates, you know what I'm saying? But he
Smart
said
football players.
Yeah, exactly. And they said when they first got there was a lot of segregation on the team, and they were looking for guys to partner up to where you could have white and black players together, but guys that that could actually match up. And so so they said they were intentional about putting us together, and I thought that was a cool story, man.
That's what's up.
But yeah, man, I talked to a lot of those guys, man, and that's just something, that's a bond that can never be broken, and something that can never be taken from us. Like when we die and in a grave, we'll always be national champions.
That's real. Speaking of memories and all that, funny Schmitty story. Go for it.
Funny Schmitty story, man. I really don't have a lot of funny Schmitty stories besides the fact that he just had me like in my head, like for years after I was done at OU. And it still even happens sometime now, and that's no lie. Like if I feel like I missed my alarm or something, like I'll immediately go back to shoot.
Oh my God, I'm late for work. I got 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Stairmaster. Like that's exactly like to this day. That's the first thought that I have, man. Because I missed one workout.
That's it.
That's the only. I missed it one time, man.
Don't matter, big dog. It's all good. I know you're
exactly.
But let's get these 30 minutes real quick.
And he'll stand on the floor and just hit the buttons. He knew exactly where they were. Just knock it out. Just take care of business. Just got to do what you got to do. Absolutely. Yeah, man. It was rough, man. Schmitty had me in my head, man. But I love Schmitty, man. I really do. I actually talk to him a couple of times a year, man, and I frequently tell him thank you just because of just his persistence, man, and holding us accountable to doing what we had to do to get to where we needed to get. And sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize how valuable what you're getting is.
Oh, man.
But now it's like I look back at that and it's like, man, that just shaped so much of who I am today, And so, yeah, man. Shout out to Schmitty.
For real. Shout out. Speaking of, Damian Mackey told a funny story one time. I said, Quentin Griffin, it's Quentin's birthday today. He's coaching running backs.
I know this.
Coaching running backs at Blinn.
Yeah.
You can probably tell it, but they said the first time Q ran shuttles, everybody
600-yard shuttles.
600-yard shuttles. Yeah. First time he ran it, he had to pass out. Everybody, the sun comes down. The angle of the sun, everybody's looking at him. He said they carried him out. And everybody looked like
you had to carry him. It looked like he was crucified. Yeah. Yeah, man. Q.
Poor Q. Hey, Curtis Lofton better not be laughing on this. Curtis and Burdine were the crampers.
Oh yeah,
crampers.
Man, nobody can laugh, man. Schmitty,
you're right.
Schmitty took everybody's body
Undefeated.
at some point, man.
Undefeated.
Like nobody. Well, I hear AD was about the only
He only
one.
got him one time. Jay White said he got him during once, and I think it was like one of his first workouts. But he said, "Yeah,
just one.
Just one."
I don't think nobody ever got away, with a clean slate. Not with Schmitty, man. Yeah. I think he may have had in his mind that he was gonna get you at least once.
Yeah.
And he had to get. Yeah. So, Yeah, everybody done got by Schmitty.
Let's talk about your pro career. Caught a touchdown from Drew Brees. You played with multiple touchdowns from Drew Brees. Yes, big time because they all matter. Let me tell you.
No question.
Yes, but that got to play with some hella fire Pro Bowlers out in San Diego, man.
Yeah.
Just talk about that, bro. Teammates, memories, all that.
Man, dude, I was telling somebody not too long ago just how fortunate I've been over my as a player, just my playing career. To play for the coaches that I played for. My high school football coach is a Texas High School Hall of Famer. You know, I played for Coach Stoops and Mike Leach and Mark Mangino, Chuck Long.
Did y'all have Schottenheimer out there?
Yeah, I played with Marty Schottenheimer, played for Marty Schottenheimer, played for Cam Cameron, played for Herm Edwards, played for Norv Turner, you know, and so I've played for some great guys, and then just the people that I played with as well. You know, obviously at OU, all of the great talent that's come through there. But you know, when I was in San Diego, man, LT, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Doug Flutie, Junior Seau, yeah, Antonio Gates,
Junior Seau was a beast, man.
Marcellus Wiley. I mean, I
had Jammer out there, didn't y'all?
Who was that?
Quinn Jammer.
Yeah, Jam. Yeah. We were. Yeah, I mean, it was
one of the greats.
Yeah, man. It was David Boston, Carlos Polk, Steven Alexander. Like I played with some, and I tell people all the time, Steven taught. He taught me everything about the tight end position.
He's a great guy, man. I love that dude.
He's so good, dude, and just his mind. He was just such a smart football player, man. And so, OU boy.
Yep.
Chickasha boy.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I've just been fortunate, you know, and through that process, through that experience, I gained a wealth of knowledge just about the game itself, seeing how things are supposed to be done and the way the game is supposed to be played. And so, yeah, I pull from all of that these days.
So I'm going to give you a little coaching question. I know you're, and we're going to talk about Southmore too. I want to get into that. We'll go through a little bit of a lightning round with OU stuff, and then I'll give you your fan questions, let you go.
Cool.
Coaching Jay Norm, just talk about your experience there. You obviously been an OC at Southern Naz. I want to get across from you. I may ask you a follow-up question on it, though. A lot of our fans don't understand what play calling is like in college.
Yeah.
They don't understand the dynamics, the math that goes into it. If you can, as an offensive coordinator, are there percentages that matter? Do you test your players throughout the week? Can an average fan imagine what it's like going through meetings, knowing the play, all that coaching?
They don't have a clue, JD.
What do they not know?
They don't know. I don't have enough time to tell them what they don't know. Like, and I feel the same frustration as you feel in that regard. And what I like to tell people is, you know, these coaches spend countless hours breaking down film of their opponent, evaluating their own talent on film, in practice. And so coming up with all of these percentages and tendencies on third down, on first down, you know, in the red zone, and on the goal line, when you're backed up, you know, the quote unquote critical situations. You know, like they spend all of these exactly like all of those types of things, man. You know, if it's in the boundary or if it's in the field, you know, if we're in this formation to the field or to the boundary. Well, if the D tackle is in the 2-eye versus a shade, like it's so much to it. And I like to challenge people when they say these things on social media. I asked them what was their tendency on third down. Okay, what was their tendency on third and short? What was their tendency on third and medium? What do you consider third and medium? Is it 3 to 5 yards or is it 4 to 7 yards? What do you consider third and long? What do you consider? Like I asked them that and they say, man, it's just I feel like they could have done something better. Why they just keep throwing that? Or dude, like I don't know, but I'm sure they have a much better reason than what you can state, you know, and. Then you get into games and things change, and you know, it's a lot into it, man. That you know, fans just need to be fans. They need to watch the team. If they like the team, they need to support them and keep it pushing. You know, because it's so much that goes into it. But you know, they have a real like hold on the employment of some of these coaches. Because if they raise enough fuss and, you know, the constituents raise enough fuss, then the administration is looking like, oh, well, we're losing our fan base. And then they fire the coach because of that.
And
it's
they
like,
can
God,
linger on for that coach afterwards.
Absolutely.
And that sucks.
No question,
you know?
man.
We had one you were close to that was here for 20 years, built this, or 15, 20 years, built to help rebuild this program. Beyond that, Jay, and you're a coach now, and I want to definitely hear your thoughts about Southmore. It's when you go back to the percentages, it's almost like that summer workout stuff that you talked about.
Yeah,
like you had to be a student of the game, and I couldn't beat you because I wouldn't have had the knowledge that you had.
Yeah.
And Coach Hayes ain't gonna trust me out there in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your ass is behind him. It's not gonna happen. Okay. So. My deal is, again, but then, Jay, and that's going to lead me into our lightning round. Not a better segment.
Yeah.
When we lost to Josh Norman, we got a J.D. Reynolds.
Wow. Yeah.
When we lost a first-round receiver, we had a second-round receiver.
Yeah.
When we lost, let's just do I'm going to get into a lightning round of just OU questions, current team. You can answer what you feel. You don't want to answer, I'm going to still get you on the Southmore stuff.
Did my answers have to be lightning?
No.
Okay.
Take your time. What do we got to do to have draft picks everywhere? Is it around here? What do you think on the depth?
Man, I'm gonna say this, not in calling out OU. This is calling out college recruiting in general. I think we have to get away from seeing who's recruiting who and making our decisions based off of that. I feel like we need to figure out what it is that fits our system on the offensive side, on the defensive side, and we need to go after guys who fit that mold. And we need to just because I feel like we have the prowess as a university to do that, to get whoever we want to get, and the type of player that we want to get. But I feel like just across college recruiting as a whole, it's guys looking to see, oh, well, I'm not going to recruit him because he don't have offers from a Power 5 school. Well, what did you see on film? What did the film show you? What did his coach say about him? What did the his teachers at the school say about him? What are his test scores like?
BV didn't care who offered him.
Exactly. I mean,
BV didn't care who offered him.
And so I think not just singling out OU, but I just think that a lot of schools are caught in that rut right now of, waiting to see who offers who and then making their decisions based off of that instead of just going after the guys that fit your system. And so I think we're getting guys who don't really fit our system. I think offensively we're in a good place. I think defensively, I just think we have, we have guys that can compete, that cannot compete when we get into the playoffs. And I think, it's not a matter of coaching that we're getting out schemed or whatever. Guys are in position where they're just not able to make the play, and it's no knock to them. They giving it they best shot. They doing what they do. I'll never knock those guys for getting out there and putting all their heart into it because I know what goes into it. But I just think we just have to do a better job of recruiting people that fit our system better.
Oklahoma and Texas high school talent, is it where it used to be? What do you think of that?
So this is my issue, man. I think athletics as a whole, sports in general, are not where they used to be because of specialization. And I'm on my way home from church today, and I look off at a park, and it's a freaking youth football team out there practicing, full pads. And I'm like, why?
It's basketball season.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing? And so not only is it leading to more injuries, it's leading to burnout. And I think that's what we see more than anything.
Real.
Is that guys are just getting burnt out and they're tapping out, or capping out rather. Mm-hmm. By the time they get to middle school and they've played since they were, in third grade.
Yep.
And I was like, man, I played since I was in third grade, but the difference was I only played it in the fall.
Right.
I didn't play it year round.
Football, basketball,
baseball.
You
can't do that, man. Mm-hmm. Like it's insane to think that they have kids out here playing football year round, tackle football year round. It's like I don't feel like you should get the government involved in everything, but dadgum, man, like there has to be rules against that because it's not safe for the kids to just be playing tackle football year round.
That's real.
From the time that they're in third grade on. Yeah. Anyway,
thoughts on just the talent level? You mentioned the top 3 teams in the playoff. Are we really 40 points away from them, Jay Norm? What do we got to do to beat them?
I just think we gotta get some dogs in there, man. And it's hard to call, man. It really is because I feel like we're playing really good football and competing at a very high level, man. But I think it's just when you get to the playoffs, it's just a different type of ball, And I think we have to start getting guys that fit our system better.
Yeah. The 2000 team. Compare them to the teams now. What do you guys do better? What do you guys do worse? Where are they better? Where are they worse?
Man, I can't speak on these other guys. But what we had a lot of intangibles, and I actually said this not too as we were going into the playoffs. We had the things that you can't prepare for, and the things that you can't measure, and so.
Jason, I'm going to cut you off, but Jason Bush is one of y'all's assistant strength coaches had a great question. He said, you can out-athlete the 2000 team all day, but they will walk behind that alley and beat your ass.
But see, I agree with the second part of that, but I don't agree with the first part.
I'm just saying it now.
I know, a lot of people say that though, JD. I've been hearing that for 20 years.
Now, the people that say that, J Norm, were not teammates with Andre Woolfolk and Antoine
Exactly.
Savage. Those fucking guys.
Exactly.
So go ahead and say what you say, but you ain't hear me say that shit.
Yeah, that's real.
And when he says out-athlete, he's saying you can think you'll out-athlete them all day, but the toughness was still there. So
no question. I think people deem, what was it, the 2005 class that came in?
Yeah, with GK and all them, Sam and all that. Yeah.
I think people say that that was a heck of a class, no question about it. But they always say, I've heard this for years, man, that we were the worst talented team that Stoops ever had. What?
Right.
Right. Like you said, they weren't on the team to see guys.
The only reason they say that, Jay, is because the draft of the 2000 didn't have many quote unquote first round picks out of it.
And the only reason was because we didn't have that
premier name
exactly at the time.
But y'all spread the ball out to 7. That was the one thing I love about the team. The one thing that I say about the 2000 team, and everybody's always like, JD, y'all have more talent. Yes, we did. Okay, our 2004 team, sure. Yes, we did. That team had an identity of they didn't give a fuck who beat you.
No, we didn't care about who you were, man. It was,
and our team did.
We just had that grit, man. I mean, like I said, when we were down against Nebraska, 14 points right off the jump. When we were down against Texas A&M, when Kansas State came storming back in their first game, and then we had to play them again in Kansas City. And they were, they had all the momentum in the world. We just had something special, man. Mm-hmm. That, like I said, it was the intangible stuff you can't measure, stuff you can't plan for.
You mentioned it, and just talking about, I want to give some of the guys, but Savo and Curtis Fagan saved our wide receiver corps as senior years. Yeah, both the guys deserve to get drafted just off how great leaders they were.
No question.
John Connor was another guy I looked up to.
JC
picked me under under his wing. They had moved him over. There was so many guys. We had moved Wolf over to DB to corner.
Just for the record, all of those guys. That's that 98 class.
I already know. That's why I brent.
Savo was the only one that's not in it. But I mean, that 98 class, was that I came in with was special.
Yep.
And we had Roy, we had Andre, we had Curtis, we had
safety from Florida. My name's Ward number 1. Godly, my mind's going blank.
Safety
T. Sims.
Oh yeah, T. Sims. Yeah, T. Sims. Yeah, T. Sims. Stalker McDougal was a part of that class. I know I'm missing Frank Romero. Mike Skinner. Yeah, Mike Skinner was in that class.
Woody. Fields. Jared Fields.
Yes, he was. Jared Fields. Yeah. I mean, we had some really good players in that class, man. And so
Sauce probably.
Sauce was D-Mac. Yeah, we had some really good players in that class, man. And so some of them didn't make it past Schmitty.
Yeah.
it was about 3, 4, 5 of them didn't make it past that first winter.
That's real. Let's get to Southport, then we'll hit these fan questions, man. Jay. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Head job, you deserve it. The kids around this area have no idea how lucky they are just for a knowledgeable, caring cat. I said it on Twitter. I idolized your game, but then I met you and idolized you as a person. That's going to carry over for sure. There's no hiding it. You're in the biggest class in the state. They've had tremendous success there, and then they've just completely fallen off the map.
Yeah.
What's your plan? What's your goals? Just let us know about that.
Well, our mission is to win championships while building young men of high character who serve and positively influence the community. And so, we have we're going to execute that through what I call the 3 C's, which is character, community, and championships. And we're going to build character. I believe there's 5 basic principles of high character, which is integrity, accountability, discipline, respect, and hard work. And we'll incorporate that, and we'll talk about that every single day and incorporate that in everything that we do. I also believe that, one of the true signs of a champion is to have an agenda beyond yourself. And so we're going to be active and, be intentional about being in the community and serving the community. I told them the other day, we're going to be in these streets, and I want the people in Moore to know us by name, know us by face.
Yes, sir. No, sir. How we doing?
Absolutely.
All of that. Come to our game. We're coming to your game.
No question. And just serving people, man. Just serving people. And then lastly, we want to be champions on the field, in the classroom, and in life. And so, I pull a little bit from everywhere that I've been. And like I said, man, just my experience at OU really set the foundation for my overall philosophy as a head coach. And I know that the offseason and the summer program is where all of that's built. Mental toughness is built. The mentality is built. That's when you get rid of the people who aren't committed, because it has to be so intense that if you make it through it, then you know that person is committed. So
that's how championships will be.
No question, man. And so yeah, man, that's the plan. Our goals, we want to be kings of Moore, which means we have to beat Moore High School. We have to beat Westmore year in and year out.
Playoff team and a team that missed playoff by 1 game.
Absolutely, and that's the start. And then we want to dominate the district, and I feel like if you dominate this district, then that sets you up really nice to win a state championship.
Absolutely.
And so we have teams like Union and Owasso and Mustang in our district, and so we have a tough district. Some people say it's the toughest district in the state.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
Easily.
So and then we want to make the playoffs. We want to win state championship, and we want to get guys in college. That's something that I'm really big. It's something that I think every coach should have a plan for. But I think it's something, nowadays with the way things are, it's something that you have to actually talk about. And, we have a plan with the recruiting coordinator to communicate with guys, with all of the coaches on the staff's network. We've been fortunate to, a lot of the people that we played with are now head coaches, coordinators, and a lot of guys that we played for are still coaching and still have a lot of pull. And so, using those networks to get eyes on our guys so that these guys have an opportunity to go play college football and play on beyond high school, but more importantly, to get a higher education.
Man, I'm excited to support you, man. This is going to be an awesome podcast. So thank you. Before we get these fan questions in, this is a 3-parter. Got That OU DNA wants to know, before the 2000 season started, what was the team's realistic goals?
The realistic goal was to win a national championship. That I remember that before the season, right as we were going in training camp, I think it was our first meeting back from training camp. The coaches get up there, they say their things about the expectations for the season, the goals for the season, and then Josh Heupel asked to speak, and he gave a really passionate speech, and he was in tears and crying just about how he had looked at the schedule, and he didn't see one team on there that we could not beat. And he went through each team and talked about why he felt we could beat those teams. And so that really set the course for us that year. And we really had expectations to win every single ball game.
What was the most important thing you prided yourself in while on the field?
Honestly, it was at OU, it was blocking. Like,
Get you on the field.
yeah, I mean, and like I knew that my teammates were depending on me for that. I knew that they were looking at me sort of as that enforcer, and they would literally come to me and be like, "Jay Norm, 23,
Get him.
got you."
Brandon Jones.
You know
got
what I'm saying?
fam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, it was blocking, man. I took pride in that. I love dumping people, dumping defenders on their back, on the benches, all of that. I loved it.
Do you think 2000 was the Nebraska game was the turning point for bigger and better things, like maybe Natty number 7? Or excuse me, it was Natty number 7 for y'all, but obviously.
Yeah. No, I think it happened at K-State. I think that's where the turning point was. Like, you know, the Texas game was a big game for us when we won 63-14. You know, but that was a Texas game. It's like you want to beat the brakes off them, regardless of the circumstances. But when we went into Kansas State and had that opportunity up there, I think they were number 3 in the country at that time, or number 5, something like that. And, you know, it was a tough environment. And I think, you know, us fighting through the challenges in that game and coming out with the victory in the way that we did it, I think that kind of set the tone for our season.
You kind of hit on this one already, but I'll give you a chance to elaborate. At Seymour Heinies wants to know, he doesn't really have a question, so he's hoping to get one of these signed pictures.
Okay.
So I'll mail them to you of one of his all-time favorite Sooners. Do you find yourself putting a lot of Coach Stoops or other coaches, OU coaches, into your own coaching class?
No question. I think I've pulled from everywhere that I've been. I pulled from Coach Stoops, and you know, I think the year we won the national championship, our motto was finish, and I talk about that all the time, just finishing, taking care of your business and finishing. I pulled from Marty Schottenheimer, write it down, you know, and whatever it takes, WIT and Cam.
Have a plan from Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah, Cam Cameron, and a lot of I remember Mike Leach teaching the quarterbacks concepts and past concepts, and I pull from those all the time, and so yeah, I pull from everybody that I've had the opportunity to play for.
At Alvin Mack 55, great name. Of all the positions you played at OU, which one was your favorite and why?
Running back, man, because that's what I played from the first time I stepped foot on the football field, and you know, even to this day, I feel like I got a raw deal. And didn't really get a fair shake at playing running back there. And so, you know, there's always that part of me that thinks, man, I still could have done it. And because I don't think I had the opportunity to prove that I couldn't. And so, it was definitely running back, man. And I wish I had the opportunity to do it at the level that I wanted to. But, you know, I was happy to contribute in the way that I did.
At Maynard_Dave wants to know, it says, it may be an unfair question, so I won't say most, but that said, who is the first coach and player to come to mind if he were to ask him to describe, or if he were to ask you to describe them as inspirational and why? Coach and player.
Coach and player. Player, I'm going to go with Hype. Josh Heupel, man, I think, you know, I played much better my junior year than I did my senior year. And I attribute a lot of that to Hype being there my junior year and then not being there my senior year. You know, just always, you know, keeping me sharp and locked in mentally, challenging me away from the field to make sure that I was staying on task, taking care of my business. You know, I feel like that was definitely Hype. Coaches, Schmitty, man.
Oof.
Schmitty, man. I can't say it enough, man. And I actually get emotional a lot of times that I think about Schmitty and I talk about Schmitty, man. But like it was, you know, it's all of the stories that you hear and all of the bad things that you hear about what Schmitty put us through, man. Like I wouldn't trade any of that for anything, man. And
He could have been somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but him actually, because it takes a lot to do that, man. Like
Every morning,
every day.
He missed one day a year, Jay Norm.
Wow.
8 weeks of summer, 8 weeks of winter, every game.
And it wasn't like he was just there. Like he was present every single time he was there. Like he just had a standard. And if you didn't meet that standard, he was going to say something. He didn't take days off. It wasn't like one day he was going to be like, "No, you good today." No, it was like every day. Come on, big dog. Come on, big dog.
And he knew.
Yeah.
I don't know how, man. That was my thing, was like, right when you open that door, if that door wasn't open 25 minutes early, if you open that motherfucker 24, up there, what,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
5:36 in the morning.
man.
The workout don't start till 6. Shit, what did you say? Nothing. I was on the Stairmaster. Huh? What? I mean, you're like, damn.
Oh, man. Schmitty, man. He was the dude, man.
I got to
He
get
is
your
the man.
thoughts on Clemson LSU. You got your boy BV out there. Got to get those before you leave.
Well, LSU looks good. They do, man, and like they're not lacking anywhere. However, I think that people just high on them because it's the new thing. But I think what Clemson is doing is special, and they have. And I actually think it's Dabo Swinney who says this. Like, they can prepare for what we do, but they can't prepare for who we are, and that's what I believe. Like, it's all great teams have the intangibles, and so and I feel like Clemson has that. I'm gonna go with Clemson. I think it's gonna be a heck of a game, but I'm gonna go with Clemson. I might be slightly biased just because I'm a BV fan and I'm a Dabo Swinney fan, but I really do think, if I'm looking at it objectively, I think they have all of the tools to get it done.
Man, this has been awesome, Jay Norm. Like I said, man, it really did. I wouldn't tell you I idolize you if I really didn't mean it. And just really look forward to supporting you on your way to multiple state championships.
Thank you, man.
Hope you don't forget about me on that gear. It's clean, 2X size. I'll be by your office soon. So my boy Brad Reed, he's looking kind of XL-ish, no offense. Just XL, no 2X. You looking kind of
I got y'all, man. JD, though, seriously, though, I bet you don't even know I knew you before OU.
You came to my game against Stillwater. Jay Hunt
How
was
you
there.
know that, man?
I scored a touchdown and I looked over. I said, "That's fucking Josh Norman." I said, "I wish I would have ran faster on that shit." Yeah. I knew that.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I was at that game. That's my first memory of JD Reynolds, man.
I don't forget, brother. I don't forget anything.
That's crazy.
And you just talk about that, but Jay's like family. We've had Jay on the pod. You just not a cooler guy. Just was a big influence on my football career.
No question.
And then I get to hear stories about you guys from him, and I'm just like, man, that's And it's funny. My visit was the same as yours. It was right around right after Christmas, so it's January. We was sitting around. I remember Russell Dennis, Andre Woolfolk was my host.
Wow.
He's like, man, I don't drink. I'll get you.
He was the worst host for anybody.
But he was real with me. I was like, what's it like? He was like, man, it's really hard up here. I was like,
hated it.
And I'm like, Drake, man, And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna just drop you off over here. He dropped me off for Russell. Russell sitting in the chair, just staring with a dip in. I was like, man, y'all don't go out there. He's like, man, fucking Schmitty's just like, by Monday will be here before we know.
For real.
I was like,
real.
What do you mean?
Schmitty ran our lives, man. Like he had mind control over us, like Debo. He
That was my
Debo,
visit.
For real.
That was my visit.
That's
man.
hilarious.
Sitting there, we went to coaches, played pool. There was nothing to do.
That's hilarious.
Tragic, man. But it also just shows. I mean, we joke about this, and it sucks, and you can say how you feel about it. But in recruiting, when Bob Stoops showed up to my house, that was all. It was when he called on the phone.
Yeah.
It was over because y'all were OU. Everybody else was everybody else.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Jay, you can speak on it, but we're just not there anymore. I mean, we can't walk into somebody's house, have LSU walk in after us, have Bama walk in after us, have Clemson walk in after us, and not worry
When you
about
put
it.
it that way, that it's a different perspective there, and that's real. I mean, but I don't know what it's gonna take, man. But geez, that's rough right there, man. But I think it just boils down to the person though, because in the same way that you just said, I know we wrapping up, man.
No, you take your time.
But in the same way you just said that, like what was it that made you come to OU? Like it wasn't. Because we didn't have the nicest facilities. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the dopest jerseys. We didn't have any of that. But
y'all won.
And we were, but I think it says something about who we were. Like when you came on your visit, it wasn't about all of the glitz and the glam. Like you didn't even do anything. Mm-mm. You know what I'm saying? But it was something that was better. And again, like I said, those intangibles, I think that's what it was.
Carried over.
Exactly.
Carried over.
It carries over to the field, man. And so, I don't know these guys now to speak on that, but I know that's what we had, and that's what it takes to win championships.
Well, some of those same guys that we, talk about, and people can joke, and hey, you guys won the Natty, we didn't. We lost back-to-back ones. Nobody's made it back-to-back since we have at OU, and that's fine. And then also, you guys set a tone for us from 03 to 06. We had a guy drafted at every position except for quarterback.
There you go.
Not bad offense and defense.
Not bad at all.
But lastly, it just. And Jay, you could let me get your thought. Last one.
Yeah.
Your Oklahoma teammates. So we talked about Jay Hunt, but the Corey Kleins of the world, the Dan Codys, the Teddy Lamans, man.
Matt McCoy.
Talk about those guys.
I mean, those guys are so integral to a team's success, you know, because there's only one Roy Williams. There's only one Adrian Peterson on every team. You know, you're not going to have a team loaded with guys like that. The majority of the guys on the team are going to be role players. And having guys who understand what their role is, whether that's within a game, whether that's on the sideline, whether that's within practice, you know, like guys understanding what their role is, and then just freaking meeting it head on and getting it done. that's invaluable, man.
That's real.
You know, and I think if you look at the way things are now with guys transferring, you know, like at the drop of a dime, like that mentality just isn't there anymore. It's not about team anymore. It's about, you know, what can I do, and how can the team help me get to where I want to go instead of me, you know, contributing to the team in some kind of way.
If it ain't the league, it's another school.
Exactly.
If it ain't another school, it's somewhere else before I go to the league.
Did you see one of my more recent posts?
Which
said
one?
It's not about where you are, it's about who you are.
I saw it.
Yeah, I'm a firm. I actually started saying that when I was coaching at the college level because, you know, it's a D2 school and everybody thinks that they're D1.
Yep.
And I used to tell them, you know, like, it's not about where you are, it's about who you are. If you can't take coaching here, you won't take it at OU.
Jerry Rice went to where?
Mississippi Valley?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
T.O. went where? Tennessee, Chattanooga?
Exactly. Like, it's not about where you are, man. It's about who you are. And if you can't do the small things at a small school, you're not going to be able to do those things at a bigger school.
That's real. That's real. Jay Norman, man, thank you, bro. Much love. My boy Brad Reed is going to do some crazy, great work with these graphics, man. I'm excited to show Sooner Nation where you are. And, hey, you know, bring your kid. He can't recruit you. I can recruit you to Southmore, so don't worry. No, I'm just kidding. But
listen to him.
If you have a kid, you would be crazy not to let him play high school football for this guy. Wonderful person. Excited to show you guys. Thank you, Jay Norm. Pull back you.
Thank you.